Okay, so here's the last one for this week. We'll have 2 more mini lessons next week before we take a quiz and move on. So this is power of a power. So this is when, if you look at this one, this is when we already have a number to a power and then it's to a power again. So this says 9 to the second cubed, or 9 to the second to the third power. So when we write this in expanded form, what we're saying is 9 squared 3 times. Okay, so 9 squared, 1, 2, 3 times. So then when we expand it fully, we have 9 squared, which was 2 times 2 times 2, and we did that 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So again, I'm not going to ask you to do this all the time, but I just want to show you what this looks like. So then when we simplify that, what we're doing is we're multiplying the exponents. Remember before when we were taking a product, or when we were multiplying bases that had exponents and we added the exponents, and then we taking the quotient or dividing exponents and we subtracted the exponents, and this time we're going to multiply the exponent. So 2 times 3 is 6. So our final answer would be 9 to the 6th. Okay, so let's do this again in expanded form. So I have 8 to the 3rd to the 4th. So what this is saying is 8 to the 3rd times 8 to the 3rd times 8 to the 3rd times 8 to the 3rd, right? So we're multiplying 8 to the 3rd 4 times. And if I expanded it even further, I would have 8 times 8 times 8, 8 times 8 times 8, 8 times 8 times 8, 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. So there's my sets. Here's one set of 3, one set of 3, one set of 3, one set. And that's, I did that 4 times because it's to the 4th power. So then my simplified version would simply be 8 to the whatever the 2 we're going to multiply. So 3 times 4 equals 12, 8 to the 12th. Now I could have added 1, 2 over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But it's much easier to multiply the exponents together. So let's do the next one, negative 6 squared. So we have negative 6 squared to the 5th times negative 6 squared times negative 6 squared times negative 6 squared times negative 6 squared. Okay, so to expand that further, I would write negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6 10 times. So it's much easier to just multiply 2 times 5 equals 10, and then my final answer would be negative 6, and remember it needs to be in parentheses, 10. Okay, so then when we look at x to the third, or x cubed cubed, again, we're talking about x to the third 3 times, or we can just multiply 3 times 3, and we get x to the 9th. Okay, so here's where it's just a little bit different. We have an x and a y. So when we have more than one thing on the inside of our parentheses that need to be to the 3rd power or cubed, we have to take that exponent and distribute it to all of the other exponents, okay? We would also distribute that if there was a number inside. So for this case, what we're doing is we're distributing it to the x to the fourth. So what it's really saying is x to the fourth to the third times y to the second to the third. But we can distribute that 3, and when we distribute, we multiply, so we have 3 times 4, 3 times 4, which is 12. So that would give us x to the 12th. And then we have 3 times 2, which would give us y to the 6th. So when we distribute, we're multiplying the exponent to all of the exponents on the inside. So I didn't write this in expanded form for you. The answer would just be x to the 12th, y to the 6th. Okay, and then a to the 20th to the 32nd would give you, we're going to just multiply we're multiplying 20 times 32, and we get 640. So our answer then is going to be a to the 640th power. So again, what we're going to write down here is, do you see a pattern? Write in words what you notice. And yes, when you multiply a power to a power, multiply the exponents. So this is just the general rule. What am I doing? Multiply. I spelled that wrong, sorry. There we go, multiply the exponents. Okay, don't worry about this one, but let's do this one together. Again, this is one where we have several things, so we're going to distribute that 3. It needs to go to the 2, to the 5, and to the z. So for x squared, I have x squared to the 3rd y to the 5th to the 3rd and z to the 3rd to the 3rd. So now I'm going to multiply each of those, and for x, I get x to the 6th, 2 times 3 is 6. For the y, I get y to the 15th, 5 times 3 is 15. And for the z, z to the 9th, 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so then the last thing here is just the rule, or the formula, the formal rule when multiplying. We have a to the m to the n, and that just means we're going to multiply a to the m times n. So that just tells us we're multiplying. Okay? Again, I want you to try these on the practice. Choose either odds or evens and turn that in. If you need help with anything, I will be available for office hours, and please let me know. Happy to help you.